Are you a prisoner of your own mind? Do you ever feel like your thoughts are running wild, like a runaway train carrying you towards anxiety, frustration, and dissatisfaction? Do you find yourself constantly reacting to external events, tossed about by the whims of fate and the actions of others? What if I told you there was a way to take back control, to master your mind and cultivate an unshakable inner peace, regardless of what life throws your way? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a powerful roadmap for achieving this mental freedom. It's not about suppressing emotions or becoming a detached robot, it's about understanding the nature of reality, cultivating inner resilience, and living a life of virtue and purpose. Forget fleeting trends and quick fixes. These are time-tested principles, forged in the fires of adversity and proven to empower individuals for over 2 millennia. Prepare to unlock the secrets that can transform your mind and, in turn, your life. Let's dive into these 10 powerful Stoic secrets. 1. Focus on what you can control, the dichotomy of control. Imagine a ship battling a fierce storm. The captain can't control the wind, the waves, or the rain. These are external forces beyond his influence. However, he can control the ship's rudder, the sails, the crew's actions, and his own response to the storm. This, in essence, is the dichotomy of control, the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It's a simple yet profound realization: our power lies solely in our internal world, our thoughts, judgments, intentions, and actions. Everything else, external events, other people's opinions, the unpredictable nature of life, is outside our direct control. The mistake most people make is expending enormous amounts of mental and emotional energy worrying about things they cannot change. They fret about the future, dwell on the past, get angry at other people's behavior, and become anxious about circumstances beyond their influence. This is not only a waste of precious energy but also a recipe for unhappiness and frustration. Stoicism teaches us to radically accept what we cannot control and to focus our efforts entirely on what we can. This doesn't mean passivity or resignation. It means accepting reality as it is, without resistance, and then acting virtuously and decisively within the sphere of our influence. If you're facing a difficult situation, ask yourself, is this something I can directly control? If the answer is no, consciously choose to let go of your worry and anxiety. Accept it. It is what it is. If the answer is yes, focus on what actions you can take, not on the outcome. You can control your effort, your preparation, your response, but you cannot guarantee a specific result. To put this into practice, consider creating a physical or mental list. On one side, write down things I can control. This might include my thoughts and judgments, my actions and reactions, my effort and preparation, my attitude and perspective, my choices and decisions, how I treat others, my focus. On the other side, write down things I can't control. This might include the weather, other people's actions and opinions, past events, the future, specifically traffic, external circumstances, outcomes of my efforts. Regularly review this list. It serves as a constant reminder of where to direct your energy. When you find yourself feeling anxious or overwhelmed, refer back to your list and consciously shift your focus to the things within your control. This simple act of redirection can be incredibly powerful in calming your mind and restoring a sense of agency. The dichotomy of control is not a one-time fix, it's a continuous practice. It requires constant vigilance and a willingness to challenge your automatic thought patterns. But with consistent effort, it will become a habit, a powerful tool for navigating life's challenges with greater peace and resilience. It's the foundation upon which all other Stoic principles are built. Master this, and you've taken the first giant step towards mastering your mind. The power to choose your response is the ultimate freedom. 2. Embrace adversity as training, negative visualization and premeditation of evils. Most people instinctively avoid adversity. They seek comfort, security, and a life free from challenges. Stoicism, however, takes a radically different approach. It views adversity not as something to be feared or avoided, but as an opportunity for growth, a chance to strengthen our character and test our virtue. This is where the practices of negative visualization and premeditation of evils come into play. These aren't about dwelling on negativity or becoming pessimistic, they're about strategically preparing ourselves for life's inevitable difficulties. Imagine a boxer training for a fight. He doesn't just practice his winning moves, he also anticipates his opponent's attacks, rehearsing his defenses and counterpunches. He visualizes getting hit, getting tired, facing setbacks. This preparation doesn't make him weaker, it makes him stronger, more resilient, and better equipped to handle the real fight. Negative visualization is similar. It involves periodically imagining things going wrong, not in a catastrophic or overly dramatic way, but realistically. Consider the possibilities. Losing your job, how would you respond? What resources would you tap into? What steps would you take to find new employment? Facing criticism, how would you handle it with grace and composure? Could you learn from the feedback, even if it's delivered poorly? Experiencing a minor illness or injury, how would you adapt your routine? How would you maintain a positive attitude? Dealing with a difficult relationship, how would you communicate effectively and set healthy boundaries? Suffering a financial setback, how would you budget and look to rebuild? The purpose of this exercise is not to create anxiety but to diminish its power. By mentally rehearsing your responses to potential challenges, you preempt the shock and lessen the emotional impact when, or if, they actually occur. You're essentially building mental calluses, strengthening your resilience in the face of adversity. Premeditation of evils takes this a step further. It involves contemplating the worst-case scenario, not to dwell on it, but to realize that even the worst-case scenario is often survivable and that you possess the inner resources to cope with it. This is not about morbid fascination, it's about recognizing that life includes loss, disappointment, and hardship, and that these experiences, while unpleasant, do not have the power to destroy your inner peace if you choose not to let them. The Stoics believe that the fear of adversity is often worse than the adversity itself. By confronting our fears in our minds, we strip them of their power. We realize that we are stronger and more capable than we often give ourselves credit for. We develop a sense of inner security that is not dependent on external circumstances. To practice negative visualization and premeditation of evils, schedule regular sessions, dedicate a few minutes each week or month to this practice. Be realistic, not catastrophic, focus on challenges that are plausible, not highly improbable disasters. Focus on your response, not the event. The key is to mentally rehearse how you will respond with virtue, reason, and resilience. Don't dwell, spend a limited amount of time on this exercise and then move on. The goal is preparation, not rumination. Journal, writing down your thoughts and potential responses can be helpful in processing your emotions and solidifying your strategies. Embracing adversity as training is a counterintuitive but profoundly empowering practice. It transforms challenges from threats into opportunities, setbacks into stepping stones. It's about cultivating an inner strength that allows you to face whatever life throws your way with courage, composure, and unwavering virtue. It's about becoming anti-fragile, not just resilient, but actually benefiting from disorder and adversity. 3. Live in accordance with nature, virtue as the sole good. What does it mean to live in accordance with nature? This is a central concept in Stoicism, and it's often misunderstood. It doesn't mean living in a forest and eating berries, although that's fine if you choose to. It means understanding your nature as a rational and social being and living in a way that fulfills that nature. For the Stoics, this translates to living a life of virtue. The Stoics believe that virtue is the only true good. External things like wealth, health, reputation, and pleasure are indifferents. They are not inherently good or bad, they are simply things that happen. They can be preferred, it's preferable to be healthy than sick, wealthy than poor, but they are not essential for happiness or a fulfilling life. Your inner state, your character, your virtue, that's what truly matters. The 4 cardinal virtues of Stoicism are: wisdom, Sophia, the ability to make sound judgments, to understand the nature of reality, and to discern what is truly good and bad. It's about seeing things clearly, without the distortions of bias, emotion, or irrational beliefs. Justice, Dichotomy fairness, righteousness, and treating others with respect and consideration. It's about acting in a way that is morally right and contributing to the common good. Courage, Andrea, not just physical bravery, but also moral courage, the ability to stand up for what is right, to face adversity with resilience, and to overcome fear and anxiety. Temperance, Sophrosyne, self-control, moderation, and balance in all things. It's about avoiding excesses and deficiencies, and living in a way that is harmonious and sustainable. Living in accordance with nature means striving to cultivate these virtues in your daily life. It's about making choices that are aligned with reason and virtue, regardless of external pressures or temptations. It's about focusing on being a good person, rather than simply appearing to be one. This is not a passive ideal, it's an active, ongoing process. It requires constant self-reflection, self-awareness, and a willingness to challenge your own beliefs and behaviors. It's about asking yourself, am I acting with wisdom in this situation? Is this decision just and fair? Am I showing courage in the face of this challenge? Am I exercising self-control and moderation? At the end of each day, take some time to reflect on your actions. Did you live up to your Stoic ideals? Where did you fall short? What can you do better tomorrow? This is not about self-criticism or perfectionism, it's about continuous improvement and striving to live a life that is aligned with your highest values. To put this into practice, study the virtues, read about the Stoic virtues and reflect on their meaning. Identify role models, think of people who embody these virtues and learn from their example. Focus on one virtue at a time, choose one virtue to focus on each week or month, and consciously try to practice it in your daily interactions. Journal your progress, keep a journal to track your progress, identify areas for improvement, and celebrate your successes. Remember that it's a journey, not a destination. Don't get discouraged if you don't always live up to your ideals. The important thing is to keep striving. Living in accordance with nature is about aligning your inner world with the principles of reason and virtue. It's about recognizing that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external possessions or circumstances, but from the cultivation of a strong and virtuous character. It's about living a life of purpose, meaning, and inner peace, regardless of what life throws your way. It is the path to eudaimonia, a Greek word often translated as flourishing or living well. 4. Practice objective judgment, see things as they are. Our minds are constantly interpreting the world around us, adding layers of meaning, judgment, and emotion to our experiences. This is a natural human tendency, but it can often lead to unnecessary suffering. Stoicism teaches us to practice objective judgment, to see things as they truly are, without the distortions of our subjective biases and interpretations. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. Your automatic reaction might be to get angry, frustrated, and stressed. You might start thinking, this is terrible. I'm going to be late. Why is this happening to me? These thoughts are not objective descriptions of reality. They are value judgments and emotional reactions. They add to your suffering and make the experience more unpleasant than it needs to be. Objective judgment involves stripping away these layers of interpretation and seeing the situation for what it is, a delay. It's simply a fact that you're currently moving slowly in traffic. It's not inherently good or bad, it just is. By removing the emotional charge and the value judgments, you can respond to the situation with greater calmness and rationality. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions entirely. It's about recognizing that your emotions are often triggered by your interpretations of events, not by the events themselves. By changing your interpretations, you can change your emotional response. The Stoics used vivid language to describe this process. They talked about stripping away the bark to reveal the true nature of things. They emphasized the importance of avoiding inflammatory language and catastrophizing. Instead of saying this is a disaster, they would say this is a setback. Instead of saying I can't stand this, they would say this is unpleasant, but I can handle it. To practice objective judgment, become aware of your inner dialogue, pay attention to the thoughts and judgments that arise in your mind, especially in challenging situations. Challenge your interpretations. Ask yourself, is this thought truly objective? Am I adding any unnecessary negativity or drama? Use neutral language. Describe events to yourself in the most neutral, factual terms possible. Avoid emotionally charged words. Focus on the present moment. Don't dwell on the past or worry about the future. Focus on what's happening right now, without judgment. Practice mindful observation. Observe your surroundings, your thoughts, and your emotions without getting caught up in them. Journal objectively. Write down situations as they happened. Avoid color words and stick to the facts. This practice requires constant vigilance and self-awareness. It's about retraining your mind to see things clearly, without the distortions of your subjective biases. It's not about becoming emotionless, it's about gaining greater control over your emotional responses and avoiding unnecessary suffering. The benefits of objective judgment are numerous. Reduced stress and anxiety. By removing the emotional charge from your experiences, you can significantly reduce your levels of stress and anxiety. Improved decision-making. Clearer thinking leads to better decisions. Greater resilience. You become less reactive to external events and better able to cope with challenges. Increased inner peace. You develop a sense of calmness and equanimity, regardless of what's happening around you. Objective judgment is a powerful tool for mastering your mind and cultivating a more peaceful and fulfilling life. It's about seeing the world through a lens of reason and clarity, rather than through the distortions of emotion and bias. It's about reclaiming your power to choose your response to life's events. 5. Remember your mortality. Memento Mori. Memento Mori is a Latin phrase that translates to remember you must die. It's a powerful reminder of the inevitability of death, a concept that many people try to avoid or ignore. Stoicism, however, embraces the awareness of mortality as a tool for living a more meaningful and fulfilling life. This is not about being morbid or dwelling on death. It's about using the awareness of your finite existence to appreciate the present moment, to prioritize what truly matters, and to live with greater urgency and purpose. It's about recognizing that time is your most precious resource, and that it should not be wasted on trivial pursuits or meaningless distractions. Imagine you were given a terminal diagnosis with only a few months to live. How would that change your perspective? What would you prioritize? What would you let go of? What would you say to the people you love? Memento Mori encourages you to ask yourself these questions now, while you still have time to act on them. The Stoics believe that the fear of death is often based on a misunderstanding of its nature. They saw death as a natural part of life, not something to be feared, but something to be accepted. They argue that it's not death itself that's frightening, but our judgment of death. By confronting our fear of death, we can free ourselves from its grip and live more fully in the present. Memento Mori can take many forms. Visual reminders. Some people keep a skull or other symbol of mortality on their desk as a reminder. Reflective practices. Regularly contemplating the inevitability of death, either through meditation, journaling, or simply quiet reflection. Visiting cemeteries. This can be a powerful way to connect with the reality of mortality and to appreciate the preciousness of life. Looking at old photographs, looking at pictures of deceased ancestors can be a poignant reminder of the passage of time. Gratitude practice. Reminding yourself of the shortness of life will make you more grateful. The benefits of practicing Memento Mori are profound. Increased appreciation for life. When you're aware of your mortality, you're more likely to savor the simple joys of life and to appreciate the people you love. Greater focus on what matters. You become less concerned with trivial pursuits and more focused on what truly gives your life meaning and purpose. Reduced fear of death. By confronting your fear of death, you can diminish its power and live with greater peace of mind. Increased urgency and motivation. You're more likely to take action and pursue your goals, knowing that your time is limited. Greater resilience. You become less attached to external things and more focused on your inner strength and virtue. Memento Mori is not a morbid practice, it's a life-affirming one. It's about using the awareness of death to enhance your appreciation for life, to live more fully in the present, and to make the most of the time you have. It's a powerful reminder that life is a precious gift, and that it should be lived with intention, purpose, and gratitude. It's about living each day as if it were your last, not in a reckless or hedonistic way, but in a way that is aligned with your values and your deepest aspirations. It brings clarity. 6. Practice gratitude. Appreciate the present. In a world that often emphasizes what we lack, Stoicism teaches us to cultivate a deep appreciation for what we have. The practice of gratitude is a powerful antidote to envy, dissatisfaction, and the constant pursuit of more. It's about shifting our focus from what's missing to what's present, from what we want to what we already possess. Gratitude is not simply a fleeting feeling, it's a conscious choice, a deliberate practice that can transform our perspective and enhance our well-being. It's about recognizing and appreciating the good things in our lives, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. The Stoics understood that our happiness is not dependent on external circumstances, but on our inner state. By cultivating gratitude, we can train our minds to focus on the positive aspects of our lives, even in the midst of challenges. This doesn't mean ignoring the negative or pretending that everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on the good, even when things are difficult. There are many ways to practice gratitude. Keep a gratitude journal. This is perhaps the most common and effective method. Each day, write down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. Be specific. Don't just write "I'm grateful for my family." Write "I'm grateful for the way my daughter makes me laugh," or "I'm grateful for the support my partner provides." Express your gratitude to others. Tell people how much you appreciate them. Write thank you notes. Express your gratitude verbally. Practice mindful appreciation. Take time to savor the simple things in life: a beautiful sunset, a delicious meal, a warm embrace. Pay attention to the details and appreciate the sensory experience. Reflect on past hardships. Thinking about challenges you've overcome can increase your appreciation for your current situation. Use visual reminders. Place objects or images around your home or workspace that remind you of things you're grateful for. Volunteer or help others. Helping those less fortunate can put your own life in perspective and increase your appreciation for what you have. Say thank you more often. Make a conscious effort to express gratitude for even the smallest acts of kindness. The benefits of practicing gratitude are well documented by scientific research. Increased happiness and life satisfaction. Gratitude has been shown to boost positive emotions and overall well-being. Reduced stress and anxiety. Focusing on the positive can help to counteract negative thoughts and emotions. Improved sleep. Gratitude has been linked to better sleep quality. Stronger relationships. Expressing gratitude to others can strengthen bonds and improve communication. Increased resilience. Gratitude can help you to cope with challenges and setbacks more effectively. Greater empathy and compassion. Gratitude can make you more aware of the good in others and more likely to help those in need. Better physical health. There is a correlation between gratitude and physical well-being. Gratitude is not a passive emotion, it's an active practice that requires conscious effort. It's about retraining your mind to focus on the positive, to appreciate the good things in your life, and to cultivate a sense of contentment and thankfulness. It's a powerful tool for transforming your perspective, enhancing your well-being, and living a more fulfilling life. It's about recognizing that even in the midst of challenges, there is always something to be grateful for. It is the simple realization that much of what we need, we already have. 7. Control your desires. Temperance and moderation. The relentless pursuit of pleasure and the insatiable desire for more are often at the root of much human suffering. Stoicism teaches us to control our desires, to practice temperance and moderation in all things, and to find contentment with what is sufficient. This is not about denying ourselves all pleasure or living a life of austerity. It's about recognizing that excessive desires lead to dissatisfaction, anxiety, and a constant feeling of lack. The Stoics distinguished between needs and wants. Needs are essential for survival and well-being: food, shelter, clothing, basic necessities. Wants, on the other hand, are desires for things that are not essential: luxuries, status symbols, excessive pleasures. While there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting things, Stoicism warns us that becoming overly attached to our wants can lead to suffering. Imagine you're constantly striving for more, a bigger house, a fancier car, a more prestigious job. Even if you achieve these things, you'll likely find that your happiness is fleeting. You'll soon adapt to your new circumstances, and your desires will simply shift to the next level. This is known as the hedonic treadmill, the tendency to constantly adapt to new levels of pleasure and to always want more. Stoicism teaches us to break free from this cycle by cultivating contentment with what is sufficient. This doesn't mean settling for mediocrity or giving up on our goals. It means recognizing that true happiness comes not from external possessions or achievements, but from inner peace and virtue. It's about appreciating what we already have and finding joy in the simple things in life. To practice controlling your desires. Distinguish between needs and wants. Before making a purchase or pursuing a pleasure, ask yourself, do I truly need this, or do I simply want it? Practice delayed gratification. Resist the urge to immediately satisfy your desires. Try waiting a day, a week, or even a month before making a purchase. Go without something you usually indulge in. Try fasting from a particular food, social media, or another form of entertainment for a period of time. This can help you to appreciate it more and to reduce your dependence on it. Focus on experiences, not possessions. Research shows that experiences tend to bring more lasting happiness than material possessions. Practice gratitude. Regularly reflecting on what you're grateful for can help to counteract the desire for more. Cultivate contentment. Practice being satisfied with what you have, rather than always striving for more. Simplify your life. Get rid of clutter and possessions you don't need. This can free up your time and energy for things that truly matter. Avoid comparisons. Stop measuring your life in comparison to others. Focus on your own journey. The benefits of controlling your desires are numerous. Increased happiness and contentment. You become less dependent on external things for your happiness and more able to find joy in the present moment. Reduced stress and anxiety. You're less likely to be driven by the constant pursuit of more and less worried about losing what you have. Greater freedom. You're no longer a slave to your desires. Improved financial well-being. You're less likely to overspend and more likely to save money. Greater appreciation for what you have. You learn to savor the simple things in life. Controlling your desires is a lifelong practice that requires constant vigilance and self-awareness. It's about cultivating a mindset of moderation, contentment, and gratitude. It's about recognizing that true happiness comes not from satisfying every desire, but from finding peace and fulfillment within yourself. It's about living a life that is aligned with reason and virtue, rather than being driven by the endless pursuit of pleasure and possessions. 8. Understand the impermanence of all things. This too shall pass. This too shall pass is a simple yet profound phrase that encapsulates the Stoic understanding of impermanence. Everything in life is in constant flux, constantly changing. Both good times and bad times are temporary. Joy, sorrow, success, failure, health, illness, all of these things come and go. Recognizing this fundamental truth can help us to navigate life's ups and downs with greater equanimity and resilience. When we're experiencing good times, it's easy to become attached to them. We want the happiness to last forever. We cling to the pleasurable experiences and fear their loss. This attachment, however, sets us up for disappointment. When the good times inevitably end, we suffer because we've become so invested in their continuation. Similarly, when we're experiencing bad times, it's easy to become overwhelmed by them. We feel like the suffering will never end. We become consumed by our pain and lose sight of the bigger picture. This despair, however, is often based on a misperception of reality. We forget that even the most difficult challenges are temporary. The Stoics understood that impermanence is a fundamental law of nature. Just as the seasons change, so too do our experiences. Nothing remains static. Everything is in a state of constant becoming. By accepting this impermanence, we can avoid becoming overly attached to positive experiences and overly distressed by negative ones. This doesn't mean we shouldn't enjoy good times or grieve losses. It means we should do so with an awareness of their temporary nature. We should savor the joy while it lasts, without clinging to it. We should allow ourselves to feel the sadness of loss, without becoming consumed by it. To understand and embrace impermanence. Reflect on past experiences. Think about times in your life when you experienced both joy and sorrow. Recognize that both eventually passed. Observe the natural world. Notice the changing seasons, the cycles of growth and decay. This can serve as a constant reminder of impermanence. Practice mindfulness. Pay attention to the present moment, recognizing that it is constantly changing. Use the phrase "this too shall pass." Repeat this phrase to yourself when you're experiencing either good times or bad times. Cultivate detachment. Practice letting go of your attachments to people, possessions, and outcomes. Focus on what you can control. Remember that you can't control external events, but you can control your response to them. The benefits of understanding impermanence are: reduced suffering. You become less attached to outcomes and less distressed by change. Increased resilience. You're better able to cope with challenges and setbacks, knowing that they are temporary. Greater appreciation for the present moment. You savor the good times more fully, knowing that they won't last forever. Increased equanimity. You develop a sense of inner peace and balance, regardless of what's happening around you. Greater wisdom. You gain a deeper understanding of the nature of reality. Understanding impermanence is a key to unlocking greater peace and resilience. It's about accepting the flow of life, rather than resisting it. It's about recognizing that change is inevitable, and that our happiness is not dependent on things remaining the same. It's about living in the present moment, fully embracing the experience of being alive, with all its joys and sorrows, knowing that this too shall pass. 9. Practice self-reflection, the inner citadel. The Stoics placed great emphasis on the importance of self-reflection, of regularly examining our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. They believe that we have an inner citadel, a fortress of inner strength and resilience that can be cultivated through introspection and self-awareness. This inner citadel is our refuge from the storms of life, the place where we can find peace and clarity, regardless of external circumstances. Self-reflection is not about self-criticism or dwelling on our flaws. It's about honest self-assessment, about identifying our strengths and weaknesses, and about working to improve ourselves. It's about becoming more aware of our thought patterns, our emotional reactions, and our behavioral tendencies. Imagine a general reviewing his troops. He doesn't just look at their victories, he also examines their defeats, their weaknesses, and their areas for improvement. He analyzes their strategies, their tactics, and their training. He does this not to criticize them, but to make them stronger and more effective. Self-reflection is similar. It's about taking an honest look at ourselves, without judgment or self-recrimination. It's about identifying areas where we can grow, where we can become more virtuous, more resilient, and more effective in our lives. There are many ways to practice self-reflection. Journaling, this is perhaps the most common and effective method. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you to process them, to gain clarity, and to identify patterns. Meditation, mindfulness meditation can help you to become more aware of your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Quiet contemplation, simply spending time in quiet reflection, without distractions, can be a powerful way to gain self-awareness. Seeking feedback from others, ask trusted friends or mentors for honest feedback on your strengths and weaknesses. Reviewing your day, at the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect on your actions, your thoughts, and your feelings. What did you do well? What could you have done better? Taking personality assessments, find out more about how you are wired and think. Reading philosophy, read about Stoicism or other branches of thought. The benefits of practicing self-reflection are numerous. Increased self-awareness, you become more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Improved self-control, you're better able to manage your impulses and reactions. Greater resilience, you're better able to cope with challenges and setbacks. Increased wisdom, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Improved relationships, you're better able to understand and communicate with others. Greater personal growth, you're constantly striving to become a better version of yourself. Self-reflection is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. It requires dedication, honesty, and a willingness to confront your own flaws. But the rewards are well worth the effort. By cultivating your inner citadel, you can develop a strength and resilience that will allow you to navigate life's challenges with greater peace, wisdom, and fulfillment. It's about becoming the master of your own mind, rather than being a slave to your thoughts and emotions. It is about building a foundation of inner strength that no external force can shake. 10. Practice empathy and common humanity, recognize our shared fate. Stoicism, while often focused on individual self-improvement, also emphasizes the importance of our interconnectedness as human beings. We are all part of a larger whole, sharing a common humanity and a shared fate. Practicing empathy and recognizing our shared humanity is essential for living a virtuous and fulfilling life. It's easy to get caught up in our own concerns, our own problems, and our own perspectives. We often judge others harshly, without understanding their circumstances or their motivations. We become angry, frustrated, and resentful towards those who act in ways we don't approve of. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate empathy, to try to see things from other people's perspectives, to understand their struggles, and to recognize their inherent worth as human beings. This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or excusing wrongdoing. It means recognizing that everyone is flawed, that everyone makes mistakes, and that everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they have. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively about the importance of common humanity. He reminded himself that we are all made for cooperation, that we are all limbs of one great body. He urged himself to love mankind and to follow nature. Recognizing our shared humanity means remembering that we are all interconnected, we are all part of a larger whole, and our actions affect others. Practicing empathy, trying to see things from other people's perspectives, even those who challenge or frustrate us. Showing compassion, feeling concern for the suffering of others and wanting to help. Treating everyone with respect, recognizing the inherent dignity and worth of every human being. Forgiving others, letting go of anger and resentment towards those who have wronged us. Working for the common good, contributing to the well-being of society as a whole. Remembering that we are all mortal, we are all in this together, subject to the same joys and sorrows. To practice empathy and common humanity. Listen actively. When someone is talking to you, really listen to what they're saying, without interrupting or judging. Put yourself in their shoes, try to imagine what it would be like to be in their situation. Read literature from different cultures. This can help you to broaden your perspective and to understand different ways of life. Volunteer your time. Helping others can increase your empathy and compassion. Practice random acts of kindness. Do something nice for someone else, without expecting anything in return. Challenge your own biases. Be aware of your own prejudices and assumptions, and actively work to overcome them. Remember your own flaws. When you're tempted to judge someone harshly, remember that you're not perfect either. Meditate on interconnectedness. Remind yourself how we are all connected. The benefits of practicing empathy and common humanity are improved relationships. You're better able to connect with others and to build stronger relationships. Reduced conflict. You're less likely to get into arguments and disagreements. Increased happiness. Helping others can bring you a sense of joy and fulfillment. Greater sense of purpose. You feel like you're part of something larger than yourself. A more just and compassionate world. You're contributing to a better society. Practicing empathy and common humanity is not always easy. It requires effort, patience, and a willingness to challenge our own biases and assumptions. But it's an essential part of living a virtuous and fulfilling life. By recognizing our shared humanity, we can build stronger relationships, create a more just and compassionate world, and find greater meaning and purpose in our own lives. It's about recognizing that we are all in this together, and that by helping others, we also help ourselves. It is about living not just for ourselves, but for the greater good of all. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Share in the comments which Stoic discipline resonated most with you and how you plan to apply it in your life. See you in the next video.